Welcome to Crossfaded.
Welcome to Crossfaded. What are we starting with here? Let's do this. I wasn't fully ready for you guys. June was.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cheers!
Cheers. What do you got? Oh, you're smoking. My bad. I like this bowl. This is fun.
Isn't it cute?
Yeah.
If there wasn't this right here, I could shake it up. It looks so fun.
Oh, the glitter on the bottom.
Yeah, it like shakes all around it.
Oh, a little snow globe.
Yeah,
action.
I'll show you by the end. We'll tap it out and I'll show you guys.
Cool.
So
what do you got? What are you smoking?
what am I smoking today? I'm smoking Silver Haze, a true sativa by Zizzle. Check it out. Woohoo.
And I made us a cute little cocktail. So one of my followers on my Gin and Ghouls page sent me a cocktail recipe that involves gin and jam and lemon juice and a little bit of soda. So
I literally got a whole orange like pulled out in my drink.
Yum.
That's hysterical.
So we used the citrus gin from I think episode 1 and orange marmalade. So we're calling this a jam session, which I think is perfect for Crossfaded.
Hell yeah. So this is actually really good. We actually mixed it with, June asked if I had sparkling water, and the only sparkling water I had was CBD sparkling water. So I'm like gonna add that in today.
Yeah, I mean, Crossfaded, it's in the spirit.
Yeah.
You love
Heck
to
yeah.
see it.
You do love to see it. So June, what's our theme this week?
We are talking about Sam Squanch.
Is Bigfoot real?
Big
What do you
feet.
guys think? Do you think Bigfoot's real? Just like off the bat, thoughts. What do you think? Say it out loud. Pretend we're there.
Polo's like, I'm judging everyone.
He's like, I'm judging all of you for
Not
thinking that Bigfoot is real. But he is real.
He
Okay,
is.
so anyways, if you see my hat, coffee for Sasquatch. Bigfoot has a bunch of different names.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get into it soon and tell you guys about it. But I had to dress for the theme today. If you've ever been to California, if you live near California, check out this coffee shop, Coffee for Sasquatch. I was obsessed with the hat. I'm like, gotta get it. So, yeah, let's get into it.
See it. All right, so as usual, I've got history to go over because I love a history moment. All right, so the legends of Bigfoot go back beyond recorded history and cover the world. In North America, and particularly in the Northwest, you can hear tales of 7-foot-tall hairy men stalking the woods, occasionally scaring campers, lumberjacks, hikers, and the like. And predominantly, I feel like most of the Sasquatch sightings happen in Northwest, like California area and Washington.
I had a decent amount from, what was it, Iowa, I think?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's like, I don't know, it is crazy. It seems like Bigfoot or the Bigfoot community, I don't know if we're assuming it's one person or many.
The big feet.
Have we decided, June? Is this one Bigfoot or is
No,
this
I
a
think
community?
it's multiple big feet.
So this is like a species is what we're deciding.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay, so Bigfoot is known by many titles with many different cultures, although the name Bigfoot is generally attributed to the mountainous western region of North America. The common name Sasquatch comes from the Salish Sasquattus. Other nations tell of a large creature like man imbued with special powers and characteristics. The Ojibwe of the northern plains believed the Rogaro appeared in times of danger, and other nations agreed that when the hairy apparition was a messenger of warning telling man to change his ways. So there's even roots in native culture of...
Oh, I have a ton of stuff about... So there's actually Native American words that mean Bigfoot, right? Mm-hmm. And one of them is Sasquatch. And all of the other words that they have in Native American culture for animals are real, right? They are real animals. And so Bigfoot is the only quote-unquote mythological animal that the Native Americans ever really spoke of or had record of.
That's not fully true because there's the Wendigo in native culture too, which is not a Bigfoot. I saw that in like a Bigfoot article that the Wendigo is synonymous with Bigfoot, but that's not true.
What's the difference?
The Wendigo is like, have you ever seen The Ritual? It's like a horror movie.
No.
Okay, super good movie, would suggest. The Wendigo is typically like a very tall, like almost thin man creature, but it like can run on all fours, can walk upright,
Ew.
but it has ginormous antlers.
Okay.
So the Wendigo is not the same as Bigfoot, and I saw that in one of the articles, and I was like, that's not the same.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I love cryptids. I love these things, so like I could talk forever about them, but yeah. So the other thing that I saw is that North American settlers started reporting sightings during the late 1800s and into the 1900s.
That's pretty crazy.
Isn't that nuts? With the occasional findings of footprints, sporadic encounters, and even a few grainy photos and videos, according to the mystery. Those who claim to have seen Bigfoot have described everything from a large upright ape to an actual hairy human, sometimes standing over 8 feet tall and described as powerfully built.
So, okay, my question at this point, do we think that this is a human?
Mm-mm.
In no way this is a human. Not even
I think it's a
related to the human
humanoid.
species?
I think it's a humanoid. Just like, you know how like the theory of evolution is that like people progressed from apes?
I know that that's a theory, but
Yeah.
what do you think of reptile people?
I don't know.
We
about
should
that
do an
one.
episode
We should do an
on
episode
reptile people.
I feel like that's one that you're interested in, and I've just never really looked into
I
it.
feel strongly about it.
So anyway, that's like the...
Okay, so you think that Bigfoot is part of the evolution theory or no?
Probably. I mean, the missing link is real. Like, what if Bigfoot is the missing link between apes and people?
Wouldn't you just think that everyone would feel pretty stupid for not figuring it out?
I feel like there's also like...
isn't that like... Shouldn't science know that? Like, wouldn't they care more about looking into Bigfoot? Like, no one has ever had this thought other than you, Jen. You're the first one to think that
original
it could be
thoughts don't exist.
But then it's weird. Like, why wouldn't they look into it? Like, so if there is a correlation, why are we hiding it?
I don't know. I mean, and like we have like a really good like clincher moment. I do at least about the FBI with this being involved. But
I
we're
don't
gonna
even
hold off
know.
on
So
this.
I might literally be shocked.
Yeah.
It might scare me.
I'm scared.
Wait, so just something interesting about these guys. Okay, so they're obviously huge, right? They're 8 to 10 feet tall, is what people say about them. And they're 600 to 700 pounds.
Yeah.
Imagine like walking into one of these dudes, like accidentally, you know, you're high walking through the forest.
A little buzzed walking through the forest.
And then you just bump into like a dude like this. Oh,
what a journey.
God.
Could you imagine if when we were in North Carolina, sorry, I get that wrong every time, we like bumped into one? Because we were in the woods. We were in a treehouse.
So we stayed in a treehouse last year for my birthday. And okay, so actually I was talking about this. I went live this morning on my page and I was talking about this. I don't even know if I told you about it. But so when we were driving down there, we listened to a bunch of podcasts about like, honestly, Bigfoot. We were on like a Bigfoot like rampage that day.
We really were. We were on a cryptid rampage that day.
Yeah, we were. So one morning, June was still asleep. I had to take some content, so I went outside early. I was smoking. I think I had like a mushroom chocolate that morning. And as I'm sitting there, like I'm done with the content. It wasn't while I was doing the content. While I was doing the content, I felt fine. When I finished, I just start hearing like all of these weird noises. I'm like, what is this? And then I'm like, I'm overanalyzing the whole thing. I just know it. But then I'm like, oh my God, what if there was like a Bigfoot out here? And then I'm like, oh my God, what would I even do? And then I'm like, oh my God, he could like probably get here quicker than I think. Like he could come up these stairs on this balcony I'm on like so quickly. Like, because I'm like, oh, I could just run into the Airbnb, into the treehouse, and I'm like, this dude is like as big as the whole place if he's there. It's just freaky the more you think about it. Like they must be peaceful because they don't really interact with humans very much, but like if they disliked humans, I would be scared.
But if we're on like the trend of like, if we're debating on if it's like a humanoid or an animal, like animals have instincts, right? Like, so if they're scared, they're probably gonna like throw rocks and stuff. And I saw that as like a pretty common thing that like they throw rocks to intimidate people that are bothering them. fucking wild.
It's so weird.
So that honestly,
I mean, I get it. Like, what else are they gonna do?
that also kind of brings me to like the smell of Bigfoot.
Ew! What do you mean?
So one of the biggest researchers in the Bigfoot community,
What's
because
his
there
name?
are a lot, Michael Rugg,
Okay.
the owner of the Bigfoot Discovery Museum, claims to have smelled Bigfoot, saying that imagine a skunk that had rolled around in dead animals and had hung around the garbage pits. So Bigfoot is a stinky bitch.
Bigfoot reminds me of like that dude in the garbage can in Sesame Street.
Oscar the Grouch?
Fucking yeah.
I'm dead.
It's like what I've always pictured he smelled like too. So maybe they're like a hybrid species.
Maybe that Oscar the Grouch is the missing link between animals
Now
and fucking
we've
Bigfoot.
hit it.
Oh, there
now
it is.
we got it. That might be an original thought right there.
But yeah, so this morning when I called you to say, hey, I'm coming over for the pod, I sprayed myself with deodorant. I was like, can't be smelling like Bigfoot out here, and she did not get it. It was so funny. So now you get it.
I do get it.
And I'm going to say that to you every time I put deodorant on now. I'm going to be like, can't be smelling like Bigfoot out here.
Thank God. Why do you think this place called themselves Coffee for Sasquatch? Like, what did they mean by that? Like, do they mean it works so much that even it would work for a 700-pound
Probably.
Sasquatch?
Probably.
This coffee has you so awake.
Our coffee is so caffeinated, it would wake Sam Squanch. I love saying Sasquatch that way, by the way. I think it's so fucking funny.
That is funny.
All right, so I also have the origin of the name Bigfoot. Jerry Crew and Andrew Genzoli in 1958. Jerry Crew, bulldozer operator for a logging company in Humboldt County, California, discovered a set of large 16-inch human-like footprints sunk deep within the mud in the Six Rivers National Forest. Upon informing his coworkers, many claimed to have seen similar tracks on previous job sites as well, telling of an odd incident such as an oil drum weighing 450 pounds having been moved without explanation. The logging company men soon began utilizing Bigfoot to describe the apparent culprit. Crew and others initially believed someone was playing a prank on them. After observing more of these massive footprints, he contacted reporter Andrew Genzoli of the Humboldt Times newspaper. Genzoli interviewed lumber workers and wrote articles about the mysterious footprints, including the name Bigfoot in relation to the tracks and the local tales of large, hairy, wild men. Came to light. So ultimately, this crazy incident happened. They called the local newspaper, and then the name Bigfoot became Bigfoot, because before that I think it was predominantly the Native American names for Bigfoot.
Right.
So I think this is kind of where the name of Bigfoot comes from, the Sasquatch. So Sasquatch is more so the native name for it, and the Bigfoot name is from the media, basically. So after that,
I mean, it makes sense. I feel like when the media gets to it, they try to put it in the dumbest, most clear terms that they possibly can. To be honest, Sasquatch sounds way cooler. We should have kept it. But Bigfoot is just very clear.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what you're talking about. Sasquatch, people are maybe what is that? I don't really get it. Sort of like the thing you said earlier. What was that?
the Wendigo.
Yeah, that. It's not something that people. It's not clear. It would probably be called Antler Man or something by the time
the media.
Yeah, they need to make things clear. So that's how they tend to do it. Freaking weird.
A plaster cast was made of the footprints, and Crew appeared holding one of the casts on the front page of the newspaper on October 6, 1958. The story spread rapidly as Genzoli began to receive correspondence from major media outlets, including the New York Times and Los Angeles Times, and as a result, the term Bigfoot became widespread as reference to an apparently large, unknown creature leaving massive footprints in Northern California. Willow Creek and Humboldt County are considered by some to be the Bigfoot capital of the world.
That's wild.
We should go. That'd be fun.
Seriously, a whole trip for Bigfoot. Okay, well, so a bunch of stories where people have reported Bigfoot sightings and things like that. They're all very they're all sort of odd, weird places.
1111, make a wish.
Oh my God, make a wish. Oh my God. Should I say it out loud?
No.
I wish that I could find Bigfoot.
Yes, I knew that's what you were going to say.
Okay, well, so imagine I'm the person that found Bigfoot.
Wearing a cat. Just wandering through the woods.
Okay, would Sasquatch know, he wouldn't know that I had a hat on about him, right?
Probably not.
He would just think that there was just this design on my hat, probably.
Yeah.
They probably, or do you think they know how to read?
I feel like no, probably not.
They probably have their own system, though,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like the Mayans?
Yeah, we could probably go into something like that about language and how it's built, but yeah, I think that, like, they probably have their own big feet language.
Oh my god. So, okay, so there's a bunch of times that people have claimed to have seen Bigfoot, right? So some of the sightings are, like June just said, of like tracks. And it's like a lot of times places that it snows or like mountain areas because it's easy to see the tracks. And it's just undescribable of where the tracks what that track would have been from.
Since you brought up snow,
yeah.
Do you think Yetis are kind of like a version of Sasquatch?
That's what I would wonder, right?
Right. Like, I feel like North American Sasquatch is probably like Bigfoot, and they're probably brown or orange,
right?
Or like, you know, like ginger. Fucking, could you imagine a ginger Sasquatch? But I think that, like, browner, right? Like,
right.
It makes me feel like more of like a bear almost.
Okay.
But then, like, northern into the colder areas, like polar bears, they turn white to match their surroundings.
Right.
So, like, Yeti, Sasquatch, Bigfoot, I feel like they might all be part of like the same.
They're like
creature.
A community, yeah.
They're all friends.
Oh my
They're
gosh. That totally could be something. Well, so some of it is obviously just tracks then that people report. One reporting I saw, I found this interesting because it's like, I don't know, in some ways you think the kid's so little that they couldn't lie about it, but then in other ways it's like, well, are we trusting a 7-year-old?
A 7-year-old that has
like,
an imaginary friend.
Right, like there was like a 7-year-old that reported seeing them. There's people that reported seeing them under a bridge. Someone reported seeing them. Teenagers. I actually believed this one the most. Teenagers were out in the woods at like 11:30 at night and claimed to have seen one. And to be honest, I think I believe that the most because like teenagers would be in the woods. Like what are they up to? Who knows? Like, but
they're probably getting crossfaded.
And then like, what do they have to really lie about? Like,
yeah,
I mean, they could lie about it.
I feel like the only story that I made up with when I was a teenager was that, like, I was at a friend's house studying, and in fact, I was just partying.
Yeah, it was somewhere different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like,
I just don't think they're making up
story.
that there's a Sasquatch that they saw. I don't know. It just seems sort of dramatic.
Seems kind of illogical.
So, I don't know. Some of that is sort of interesting. I also wrote down, if this thing Bigfoot exists, like you start questioning like what else exists. And I totally agree, like with the Yeti and stuff that. Like it's like, well, if you believe in one, you sort of probably believe in all of them. I don't know. Does anyone believe in like just one of these things? Like, do you think that others are like not real or that they couldn't be related?
Wait, I just thought of the best Halloween costume that we could do this year.
What?
You could be a sexy Bigfoot and I'll be a sexy Yeti. It'd be
I'm
funny.
screaming.
It would be funny. It would be so funny.
You could be a ginger one.
Ooh. Put on. Well, I mean, my hair is now like orange.
Yeah.
It would work.
It would work. What the heck?
Okay, so speaking of sightings, back on track here.
Back on track.
So speaking of sightings, have you ever heard of the Ape Canyon incident?
No.
Okay. So on July 16th, 1924, an article in the Oregonian made national news when a story was published describing a conflict between a group of gold prospectors and a group of ape men in Gorge, New York, near Mount St. Helens. The prospectors reported encountering gorilla men near the remote cabin. One of the men, Fred Beck, indicated that he struck one of the creatures with a rifle fire. That night, they reported coming under attack by the creatures who were said to have thrown large rocks, there it is, large rocks, at the cabin, damaging the roof and knocking Beck unconscious. The men fled the area the following morning.
That's wild.
So all the Sam Squanches were like, yo, they're fucking with our shit, let's throw rocks at them. So
you think that they're generally peaceful, like, until
I
they're
feel like
messed
that,
with?
like, if someone shot at me, I would be, like, pretty not thrilled about it. So... I feel like I'd call my fam and be like, yo, what's up? We're gonna go fucking throw rocks at people.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Sasquatch brain.
I mean, why do people think, like, let me shoot them? Why is that the
There's, like,
take?
this crazy statistic that, like, people will, like, hoax. Because, like, there are legitimate Bigfoot hoaxes. And I think that's why there's like speculation on whether or not Sasquatch is real.
I have to show you a YouTube video after this
Oh
of
my
the
God, I can't
Nelk
wait.
boys going on a Bigfoot. Okay, let me just explain it in case anyone listening like doesn't know this video. So the Nelk boys, they go and they meet up with this guy who like is a professional Bigfoot like hunter, and, like likes to find him and stuff. He wants, not he's trying to kill him, but he wants to like see one and like record it. He's like a huge enthusiast. And then their one friend dresses up and like fucks with the guy.
Okay, so
It's so funny.
that is pretty common, and there's like a huge number of people that get shot because of it. Like they get genuinely shot because people are desperate to find proof of Sasquatch.
It's insane.
Isn't it
That's
nuts?
so nuts.
Like, don't be out in the woods wearing a fucking gorilla costume. Could you imagine if our friend Paul did that?
It is sort of funny.
He's so tall.
We should prank someone. We should find a local Bigfoot enthusiast
Right.
and prank them with Paul.
Oh my god, that'd be so funny with all of his bras.
Embarrassing.
But yeah, so that's like a really
Wait, there's
weird...
literally groups in different places
Yeah, I
where
know.
people go to find Sasquatch, and like it's claimed that these sightings happen all over the place. Like it's throughout Canada, the US. This has been like all over the place. Sort of like the Sirens and Mermaids episode we were
like
talking
every
about.
culture has like this.
Yeah, so like that's also a really weird thing.
But just like I said with the Sirens and Mermaids thing, like...
This guy said something really weird. Do you want to hear it?
Wait, but just like with the
Okay.
Sirens and Mermaids thing, like, because these stories have been told for so long, it's kind of hard for me not to believe
Right,
it.
like there's gotta be something going
Right.
on there.
Okay.
Okay, so there's this guy. This is a weird thing I debated not telling you, but like
Okay,
I
but
just
I need
think
to
it's
know.
funny. You need to know. So like it's I don't believe this. I'm just gonna put that out there. But like I had to write it down when I
'Cause
bumped
it's just
into
so
it.
absurd.
Yeah, so this guy's name is Les Stroud. I don't know how you pronounce it. He's a Canadian survival expert, right?
Okay.
And his take on Bigfoot was, what if this is a species of intensely savant autism, and it gives them an extraordinary ability to play hide and seek, and they have telepathy, and they know how to manipulate their own life force energy.
That's a little out there for me. That's a little too absurd.
That was way too out there for me.
Yeah.
I didn't really catch along with it. I don't know.
Just autistic apes out there.
Just
being
like
telepathic.
he was basically they're just like extremely autistic, which is why they don't want to like see anyone or like bump into anyone. Like they only sort of interact with their own community. I mean, I get what he's trying to say, but like I'm not down
But it's a
for
no.
it. Yeah, it's a
It's a
no
no.
for me. Sorry, Les. I really loved the theory.
That's amazing. I think I have like one more point before I have the drama bomb. Oh no, I already
I
said
have
it.
a few things. Okay, well, so there's this other guy. His name's Bob Hieronymus. Who knows? I don't know any of these last names.
We're gonna forever butcher names too. Like I'm
Yeah.
just gonna set that precedent now. We're gonna forever
Well,
butcher
they
names.
got last names like
Yeah.
this. What is anyone gonna be up to? Okay, so this guy says that he was Bigfoot in a popular video that like you actually might have seen. It's like a sighting video that goes around, and it's like a general one that like if you've seen a video of Bigfoot from afar on the internet, like he claims that he's the person in the costume in that video and that it wasn't actually a real Bigfoot. And he claims that he even has a receipt of the costume that he bought. So, but also my other question is like, why would we go to all this work to pretend that something is real?
Dude, Sasquatch is so ingrained in our like culture, and our fascination with it is like unending. Do you remember those commercials that were like messing with Sasquatch, and it was like a fucking beef jerky commercial?
Oh my god, yes, I do remember that. I feel like there was like a whole era of Sasquatch
Yeah.
commercials.
Oh yeah, and honestly, like bring it back because I loved those
Let's bring it
commercials.
back.
They were
Dude,
funny.
we should post about some of them. We need
We
to find
should.
some of them.
Oh my god, I loved those commercials. I would laugh so hard every time. I didn't even care that it was for beef jerky. I just like enjoyed watching it.
Yeah.
It was funny as hell.
Did you ever see that YouTube video where, oh my god, I almost don't want to tell you because if you didn't, I want to like be the one to show it to you. But you might still get scared from it. even if you've never seen it. And so it's this like, it's almost like a I think it is from a commercial, and it's this car, it's like a red car going around this like road, and there's just grass.
No, I have not seen this.
It's very...
I think we should do a reaction video, so hold.
All right. Well, stay tuned then for our reaction video, and honestly, we're honestly get filmed when we're done with this, because I'm thrilled now. Okay, cool. Well, other than that, a few other just fun facts I found when I was searching for this. Like, there's a bunch of places right now that we are just lacking investigation in. One is the Amazon, and that's 5.5 million square kilometers. Just very little investigation has ever been done there. The Sahara Desert is another one. It's a harsh climate, so like it makes sense that we're not able to do things there that much.
Just like the ocean.
Right. But during the Ice Age, it was actually green in the Sahara Desert. So like you would think that it had some, like I would be interested as like an archaeologist or something to look into that. And then the last one is obviously the continental shelves, because sea level rose. So those are all places that archaeology has not largely investigated. Of which, like, could some of these be, like, sort of areas where these things exist? Like the mermaid sirens in the ocean. Yeah. And then, like, maybe it's Bigfoot, you know, anything to do with, like, the Amazon area. Like, I don't know.
I would be really interested to look into if Bigfoot mythology or lore or whatever goes into, like, Japanese culture, because, like, the Akigora forest is, like, the suicide forest in Japan.
Yeah.
Like, could you not imagine, like, a Sasquatch just being out there, like, here I am, like, in this forest that, like, you can get very easily lost in.
Yeah, I know. No one really goes there. The only reason I even knew of it was that time that, like, I think it was Jake or Logan Paul did that video, and then he got canceled because there was, like, people, like, in the back of it. And that's the only time that I, like, even knew what the forest was. Like, until that happened, I wouldn't have even known that forest existed. That is pretty crazy. I mean, yeah, there totally could be. And it is. Like, think of, like, I've always thought that there's something weird, okay? I have had this, like, fascination. This is, like, a weird thing. But I've always, like, since I was younger, I've always liked watching those shows of, like, missing people. Yeah. Like, how did they go missing? I like to try to guess myself what I think the theory is.
Sam Squanch needed a bride.
There's so many people that go missing in national parks and stuff like that. Yeah. And, like, there's no real evidence behind it. There's no one really looking into it. Like, I don't know. I just think that maybe we do know that there is, like, how much more scared would everyone be to go to national parks if they broadcasted all over, hey, just so you know, like, you feel free to go to national parks. However, we know that Sasquatch is there and occasionally people go missing. So put two and two together. Like, people would probably stop going to the parks.
Wait. Hide your kids, hide your wife, because Sasquatch be stealing everybody out here.
I'm screaming. But people would literally lose it, you guys. Like, so I don't know. I sort of think, like, maybe we do know it's a thing, and maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, in that, like, kind of we're getting to the point of, like, the government's hiding things from us, because, like, you and I are both kind of on that trend of, like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we're on to the FBI.
We're on to you.
Okay.
Don't be on to us. We're not on
We're on to you.
But we're on to nothing.
Okay. In 2019, the FBI released its 4-decade-old file on Bigfoot, including an analysis conducted on the hair that was allegedly belonged to the Sasquatch.
I'm screaming. The hair.
The results were that it was deer hair.
Shut up.
Okay. 4 decades of files, and you're telling me, yep, no, it's deer hair. I don't trust that for a moment. But yet, the FBI offers no confirmation of Bigfoot's existence, and the dude that sent in the hair doesn't recall receiving the results.
What?
So that is suspicious all around. So, like, I think that...
It's like the same way I feel when, like, a celebrity autopsy result comes back, like, inconclusive or something. I'm like, what do you mean it was inconclusive? Something came up. Or how did they die? Like, what?
That, to me, was, like, the clincher of, yes, Bigfoot exists and the government's hiding it from us.
Right. And, I mean, it
Very
does
similar
make...
with
It
aliens.
makes sense to what I'm saying, though, is, like... It would they've gone to a lot of work to, like, talk up the national parks and get people to want to go there and, like, want to check out you know, the beautiful scenery and stuff. But like realistically, if they tomorrow release that, like, just so you know, you're entering at your own risk, there is Bigfoot community throughout like places like this, it may severely limit the amount of people that wanted to go there.
Well, yeah, and like I said, like it's the same with aliens. Like Area 51 exists,
right?
Roswell, New Mexico exists,
right?
Like, and no one's allowed to go there.
Right.
Same as like when we talked about the Denver International Airport with like the underground caverns, and no one's allowed to go there. You are hiding something,
right?
If you are not allowing people to do that. So,
oh,
like,
absolutely.
That's just how I feel like with the FBI being like, well, we're not saying yes and we're not saying no.
Right.
But here's like this 4-decade-old file and it was deer hair. Like, I don't believe that. Also, like, deer hair is not as long as, like, Sasquatch
That's
hair.
how I feel, too.
Like, what do you mean?
What, you just trimmed a little piece off?
Right.
I feel like deer hair would be, like, really...
And, like, truly the force that drives it home is that the guy doesn't recall receiving the results.
I think so, too.
Like, what, you put it in the U.S. mail and it just didn't get delivered.
What the heck? That's
Right.
so odd.
Right. So weird.
So, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that Bigfoot is real? Do you think that he exists? Do you think the whole thing is a sham? Do you prefer to call him Sasquatch? I don't know.
Or Sam Squanch. It's my favorite.
If you agree with June, DM her. She'll probably be
It's my
thrilled to
favorite.
hear that.
It's my favorite. But yeah, like, I truly believe that Bigfoot is real. And again, like, I don't trust the government. So I think that they're hiding something forever. They're probably hiding many things.
Probably. We'll keep adding to them.
Which is funny because that brings us to our next episode options. So
Yes.
we're going to do a poll. So we have 2 options for next week. We kind of can't pick between the 2 of them. So we're going to let you guys decide, just like we did with mermaids. We are either going to do Princess Diana and how her death was faked, or the moon landing wasn't real.
What one do you guys
Which one
see?
would you like to see? Which one would you like to hear about? And then we will post that poll on our Instagram, and you can find us on Instagram at xfadedpod with an X. You can find us on TikTok at xfadedpod. You can find Tiva on her page at Tiva Tokes. You can find me on my page at Gin and Ghouls on Instagram. That's Instagram for both of us. If you have ideas that you want to write in about, and like something that we should cover, write into our email. It's xfadedpod@gmail.com.
Yes.
And you can find us on YouTube and Spotify at xfadedpod.
So you should definitely check out old episodes if you haven't seen them. We've talked about cool shit. Any conspiracy that you want to see that we haven't covered, let us know, like June said. And then also stay tuned for June's reaction to that scary YouTube video that I'm talking about. And
also stay tuned because I'm absolutely going to binge watch the Messing with Sasquatch fucking videos after this.
I love it. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys.
Thanks for tuning in. You
Peace.
faded?
Oh my God, I do need to do
Faded?
this. Ah, I'm faded. Let's use this.
We out. We faded.
Cheers.